You know what time it is.
What's up, beer people?
If you heard it on the hashtag beer time, it's true.
It must be true.
It's true. It is fact. Please, won't you name one of your beers cart horse?
And just do something terrible. Just shit beer.
Stick your finger in there every now and again.
Stir it with the sock.
Every show, it feels like my first show.
Every show is a new adventure.
We're having some good conversation here, Mr. Troy.
Did I make sense there? I think I did.
I love them all.
Are we all fair?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 26 of Hashtag Beer Time with me, T-Bone Troy, the show where we speak about interesting beer folk in the beer world. And this show is no different. We have Stephen from Shackleton Brewing Company. Now, Shackleton is quite a familiar name. It should maybe ring a bell. I'm not going to give you too much info about where Stephen got the name from, but within this podcast and show, he explains the meaning behind the name and why he chose it. And it's pretty much one of my top 3 stories in terms of how a brewery got its name. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I want you to listen to it, and I know you will enjoy it. So in this show, we have Stephen, and we also have our co-host Murray from Metal Lane. Great to have him in the studio again. We try some beers. We try some German fruit beers, like a fruit cocktail beer. I'll just let you listen to that a little bit later. But we also speak mainly about the Cask Festival, which Stephen organized and which Murray from Metal Lane also was in attendance with a cask of his own. And I stand to be corrected, but I think it is pretty much the first cask festival in South Africa. Probably need to check my facts, but it certainly is the first in terms of one where I'm alive. So enough chit-chat from me. I will let you get on with it and enjoy this. Please, as always, let me know what you think, and check you guys soon. Cheers. And hello, how are you doing? Hello, Tuesday. 2 minutes past 12, it is time for Hashtag Beer Time. Zimzalabim, how you doing? It's me, T-Bone Troy. Very nice to be back in the studio. I have a great show. I think we have a great show lined up for you. So if you're just tuning in, if you're just joining us, welcome. And so much to talk about. We had the Fools and Fans Festival this last weekend. We've got In the Shadow of Giants Cask Beer Festival this weekend. I haven't even had a beer yet, and I'm stumbling over my words. Let me just hand over to my co-host, Murray. How are you doing? Welcome back.
T-Bone, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure having you. You never need to say thank you. Gentlemen, to your right, first time in the studio, one of the newest, I suppose, craft brewers to hit the Cape Town scene, Mr. Stephen from Shackleton's. How you doing?
I'm well, Troy. Thanks for having me, man.
Lekker. So, I think...
Can I just get back to Simsalabim before anything else?
Go ahead.
Fantastic. I haven't heard that for years.
It's a great
I really
song,
enjoyed
great
it.
video.
Yeah.
Love a bit of Desmond and the Tutus. So, let's not break tradition. I had a full-on question there aimed at Steve, but
I shot it straight down.
we need to open a beer.
We have to.
Yeah, let's warm up.
So I want to start with a beer that my missus brought, and the whole kind of theme today is cask and Shackletons. Obviously, the show is dedicated to you, good sir. But I wanted to kick off, seeing as we're talking about interesting beers and different beers. This beer I found this at the back of my fridge. And
Is that a beer?
it's a bear. It's a beer with a bear on it.
It's green.
It's green. It's bright green.
It's bright green. So my missus brought this back from Germany, and it was one of those beers that just kind of stood out on the shelf.
Well, I wonder why.
And I just thought, okay, now I have to see what this is. So it's in German, but you will probably, it's called the Bubble Green from Biermischgetränk, I think, and Oberbarg.
I've already got an idea of what it tastes like, even though I could be wrong.
Well, do you want to have a guess? What
It's
kind
a
of
sour.
taste?
It's a sour.
You think it's a sour?
It looks like apple sauce. I'm expecting to get apple.
Stevie,
My initial thoughts is absinthe.
absinthe. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Green fairy.
only because I know. I'll read the back. Bier Mischgetränk. Os. And now it's got your 60% beer und 40% Erfrischungsgetränk met kiwi, honingmeloen en I don't know, I presume that's and geschmack.
Oh, I can't wait for the geschmack.
I don't know what the geschmack is, but yeah. So hence the green. So let's give it a little.
It really looks like if you had to label that with some sort of like Smirnoff branding, so it would really like suit it much better than that does.
Let's
I can't even see
hold it up
anything
to
that
the-
looks like a beer.
Yeah,
to the camera.
I would love to know what that other stuff is.
Geschmack.
Yeah,
You can Google it if you want.
geschmack and the other. I will check it out now.
So essentially, what I got from that is like
It actually looks like
kiwi.
cream soda.
It's a
It
kiwi
looks like cream
something.
soda. Look at that. Okay, it's very interesting. First off, but I'll let you guys. Well, let me help you as a host. Do you want to take one of those? Oh, that's not going to be good enough.
It's fine. I may actually be fine with that much.
Cool. Cheers, gents. Welcome. Hello.
Cheers.
Okay, have a look at that. Let's have a smell. Let's walk through this. I'm getting so definitely the kiwi, the melon, the geschmack.
Geschmack. That is so interesting.
It's interesting.
I can't
And
put
I can pick up a little bit of beer. So I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna have a sip. Ooh. Ooh.
Initially, it tastes quite sweet.
No,
And
I
then
got a bitterness.
I got a sweetness, and then it like just flattened out.
You think you're drinking juice, but then all of a sudden you get that.
It
Hoppy, moppy.
is so bizarre. That's what the translation gave me.
Air.
But I've definitely put it in wrong.
No,
Just
but
giving me the same.
That's I read that somewhere else on the label. So it's obviously.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna do this properly. It's interesting. It's like it does remind me of something. It's that very melony. Not that it's like that like fake melon.
But
I don't know where I've had that fake melon, but it's like this. It's one of those memories, you're like, oh, this is like a melon sweet, but I don't know what kind of melon sweet. But
it's like when your mom makes a fruit platter and she brings out some of the melon and stuff like that. And then
it's very interesting, eh? It's because it's got that. It does. Steve's right. It definitely does have like a forward sweetness to it, but it's also got a beeriness to it. It's definitely got beer in it.
It starts as a juice and then finishes as a beer. I feel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I mean, let's not even get into debate whether it is classified as a beer. But it's a mixer. They're not hiding the fact that it's a mix.
But I wonder how much of the placebo effect we're getting just by looking at it as well.
Do you think it's like a really cheap alternative beer? Yeah.
What?
I wonder what kind of style of beer it is. I suppose if we spoke German, we would know. While we're discovering this stuff,
It says 40%. This Erfrischungsgetränk means the soft drink.
okay, so it is a fruit juice.
60% beer, 40%
Fruit juice.
soft drink.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to find out what gekak
You think?
is.
So while you're looking at that, we should probably announce to the people that we have a competition. And as I said that, I was like, shit, how are we going to do this? But it's tickets to this weekend's beer festival, the Cask Beer Festival in the Shadow of Giants in Newlands at the Springbok Pub.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve, you can definitely talk about that next, but let's first give away some tickets, or let's do some kind of competition on Twitter. I think Twitter's a good vehicle.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have any ask of the audience, or what do you think they should do to deserve 2 tickets?
I was giving it some thoughts, and I think definitely something cask related.
Okay. Maybe make a poem with the word cask.
Yeah.
A few words that come to mind. Okay, so maybe for the people listening, if you want to win 2 free tickets to this weekend's Cask Beer Festival at Newlands, maybe just tweet to #BeerTime. Do you have a handle? No. I think we've had this conversation before.
This is my bad. I've put that off.
Don't worry. So people can tag, am I saying that right? People can tag me, #BeerTime, and then just include the word cask in your tweets. I don't know, be original, make a poem, send a love letter to the 3 of us. Murray, you want that?
I want that.
You want, okay.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you want? Because that's ultimately up to you and I. No, you. Yes.
You're the host, Troy.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I think I'd like to see.
You want a lol.
Yeah, I'd love to have. I'd love to have a laugh as to.
I tell you what. Whoever us in the studio decide who we're going to lol back at, they get a ticket. And if there are 2 people that make us lol, then can we maybe?
So the funniest cast comment.
Funniest. There we go.
I like that.
We're getting somewhere on #BeerTime. Right, back to this beer. Then we're gonna chat about the festival.
It says surf on the green side on it.
Just
I don't know how that fits.
Go back and push your mic back a bit.
I don't know how surf on the green side fits.
Surf on the green side.
Yeah.
This is bottle.
And it's a bear.
It's quite a heavy bottle.
It's like a
heavy bottle.
It is heavy. It's thick.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna show our guests quickly.
Take the
Because
bottle.
we've got a camera now.
Schmuck.
Take the bottle.
T-Bone?
Bubble green.
This is very interesting.
It is. What would you say the not the point of it is, but yeah, what would you say the point of or the thought process that the brewers had when making it? Do you think they said maybe there's just too many people who need something different, and like as you say, it's like a shandy, and they find too many people who are mixing their beers, or what?
I think it's leaning towards the verge of being experimental, because it's quite a out there fruit combination and quite a heavy percentage towards the fruits.
Yeah,
this is not a fruit beer where you add a little bit of kiwi and you add a little bit of melon in the secondary fermenter or a little pulp.
yeah.
This is 40%.
It tastes like a very, very, very chilled blonde ale with like 0 characteristics and all the characteristics. It's a beer.
It's very clean.
Very simple base beer with a lot of power coming from the juice.
So, following on that experiment kind of beer, then I think this is just they want to see if it's going to take, if it's going to pick which kind of demographic people will go for it. And can you see something like this working?
Well, I have seen
At 3% as well, eh?
Yeah.
3% alcohol.
it's very, very refreshing. You could that is you know what this is. This is I think the equivalent of something like a. What did you used to like at varsity? Used to have Strawpedos and stuff. What were they with?
Smirnoff.
No, it wasn't Smirnoff. It was those
Smirnoff Mule.
No, those fruit flavors.
Spins. Storm. Swivel.
Those
Brutal fruits.
Brutal fruits. So I think that's the equivalent. It's just a beer brutal fruit, in my opinion.
Do you know, I think this would do well at a festival.
Yeah.
Because on a hot day and where someone just wants... Because this is not something you'd expect. This is definitely on the experimental side. And this is, as a brewer, would be... imagine one of the brewers of Cape Town, brought this to a festival.
It would do well because it sort of it expands the drinkership. if that's a word. There's people who go to the festival who go for maybe because their boyfriend or their husband wants to go, and they're like, no, there's no wine, there's
Or their
no
girlfriend.
Venti, whatever,
Or
or
their
their girlfriend.
No?
Yeah, and they say, well, I want to have, like, I'll give that a go. And that's why the ciders at the festival are there. They just make it, they make more people happy. They fill the gaps.
I do
struggling.
see this as a bit of like a novelty beer. Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna. I don't think it would be anything that took off in South Africa.
No, but
No.
It would be something that's very interesting at a festival.
But there are those beers in, I don't know if they are at Checkers. I've definitely seen them at Checkers. They're also energy drink. They're also beer energy drinks. Like, I haven't had one of those, but that sounds traumatic. Like, it sounds hectic.
well, what are we agreeing with this? Are we giving it a thumbs up? Are we dismissing it? Are we saying
Oh,
it's geschmack?
if it's growing the industry, it's available. I'm in for it. Then I don't see myself making one.
What do you think?
Would I make one?
Would you buy this and take it to friends, or would you, if someone served this in your house, would you drink it?
I mean, like,
give you
if
two
it's
options.
there, if it's there, I'll drink it, but I'll have one at a push. And
Yeah.
I'll maybe share it, and then I'll move on to something else. But it's not for me, like, really. But I understand what it's doing for the industry. If it's in the industry and if it's in Cape Town, like, I would say there's definitely more people now drinking craft beer, if you're going to classify this as a craft beer, than there were before it came out. So I'm for it, but I don't like it. It's not a tasty beer.
Mr. Steve, would you drink this or a Bud Light?
I would drink it by
like I said,
Really?
like I said, this only for the novelty. So I would never brew this, and I don't think it really has much market. Yeah, but I think that it's quite a cool drink to have. Like it's not really my flavor.
I can see this being very popular with the youth.
The youth,
the uncouth youth.
Yes, this is the
warm-up
drink.
drink.
This is
Yeah.
the drink that
You
look-
mobile drop with that.
No, you look back in 10 years and
Yeah.
you can't handle the taste
Yeah.
of kiwi.
You look at it and you're like,
Yeah.
That's my brutal fruit. Thing.
Right. Okay. So we
I would rather have a Bud Light though.
I agree.
wow.
Not because it's a bad, like it's just Bud Light's beer. This is 60% beer. So you're probably getting more beer.
That's probably more percentage beer than
I don't know. At 3%.
Okay, so it's a kind of a miss. We're saying in the studio, but let's.
What's your opinion on it? Would you buy a 6-pack of this?
My opinion's
Oh, that's true. And on we move.
No, I would buy as my wife did. I would buy one bottle just because I'm so interested in it,
Yeah.
and that's the whole reason why I asked her to get it, because it had that schmuck on the back.
You actually asked specifically for this.
I saw the label, and
She sent you a photo and you were like, I want that.
she sent me a photo of the whole shelf.
Yeah. Fair.
Bless,
Fair. That's,
bless her. And
Yeah.
I circled in my photo, and I sent it back to her. I said, please get these on this.
and you know you chose the heaviest bottle by far. Just feel how heavy that bottle is.
Yeah, that's solid.
You could
Yeah.
have got 2 beers shipped back.
Yeah.
That's a...
It's very, it's actually wrong how heavy that is.
Okay, well, we'll find out what geschmack is later. If anyone's listening and they know what geschmack
I
is.
think we can. I'll throw in 2 more tickets if they know what geschmack is.
I know what it is.
Spells G-E-S-C-H-M-A-C-K. Geschmack. Okay, let's move on.
We've got the first person that I see that's entered the competition.
Oh, really?
Old White and Rice, Ross Simmons.
Read it out.
So he mentions when he says Hickory Dickory Dock, there's fuck all that rhymes with cask. Please, can I have a ticket to the beer fest this weekend? Simsalabim. Yeah, I like that. It definitely got a lull.
You lulling.
Yeah.
There's some lulling there. Bless his heart.
What would you say rhymes with dock? Ross? Could have gone with that.
Let's keep it clean here. But let's move on to this whole weekend's festivities, and I think let's move on to another beer. Let's introduce you while while we're at it. Stephen?
Steve?
Rambo?
Well, jeez. That's kind of just...
Talk me through that. I haven't heard that.
There's nothing much exciting about that. When I first got Facebook, it became a joke.
I like it.
It kind of just stuck, and
You
I haven't
could
taken it
change
off.
your name to anything. I remember there's that phase. But, I mean, we've kind of just became Facebook friends in the last few months. You joined us on the Hop Tour, which was awesome. And
Don't mention the Hop Tour.
Don't mention the Hop Tour in front of Mozo.
No.
But I found your story really fascinating in terms of your journey into becoming a craft brewer and starting this microbrewery in the back of an abandoned train in Newlands.
Yeah.
And maybe you can just tell the people in terms of your background. You weren't a brewer. What were you before that?
So I spent, my time in Cape Town is what now, like 7 years. Started at UCT, started with a BCom, failed miserably. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
As you were living a proper varsity life.
Yeah, I was just getting warmed up into the beer industry.
Yeah, you're doing some
That's
proper
all.
market research. R&D. It's huge. It's really important.
Yeah.
But that's crucial.
Yeah.
You don't want to taint your beer with
Rinse your glass out.
And then I moved across to environmental management. That was kind of where I
Thrived.
thrived. I loved it, and I think it drew me in, and I went and finished doing my honors. But throughout that whole time, I was actually just homebrewing,
Yeah.
and it became a passion. And I spent every bit of money that I could on
Amen.
on buying malts and so on from the guys at Beer Guevara, and then meeting the guys in the industry, and so basically then the story goes that I met Dave at Springboks. He's the owner of Springbok Pub, and
doing some R&D.
also just doing a bit of market research, and then and he wanted to. I mean, he's fascinated by British beers. He is British himself, and so we decided, okay, let's try and create a British house ale on hand pulled, and we started up the 50-litre system, and after 2 years, we got the 50-litre system producing a decent beer.
Nice.
And it's now currently the house ale at Springboks. But
Well
then throughout that process, I decided, no, okay, we're not managing with keeping up on 50 litres, so I went to Greg's at Banana Jam, contract brewed there for a year or so.
Sure.
And then, I got the opportunity after finished studying to get my own brewery.
So I know there's a whole nother story in terms of where you got your brewery name, but let's crack open a beer.
Yeah.
Maybe introduce us to. We're going to go through your range, or can we call it a range?
So I brought two of the sort of beers that we're leaning towards the core range.
Sure.
Yeah. We'll start with the Kolsch.
Ooh.
I really packed this cooler box with way too much ice.
Nothing wrong with it.
It's like raking it out of the way to get to it. I was like, there can't be that much ice in
Swing
there.
this into
There's so much ice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's
a lot of
there's
ice.
so much ice. It's good. It's definitely not an issue.
Okay. No, that's good.
Okay. Bottled in this morning.
You know. Okay, there is a bucket there.
Yeah.
I just thought you threw it on the ground.
Exactly. That's going to be used to clean the floors.
So, cool. Talk to us.
Nice. Bottled this morning.
Bottled this morning. Yeah. So we don't actually bottle any of our beers yet. We're not at that stage.
That's interesting.
A lot of people ask me, like, surely that's an easy way to get your brand out and so on, and it is. But I just can't. I don't want to put my beer out yet without promising brewery fresh quality.
Yeah.
And I want to get the right bottling units. And
It's ice cold.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
So this is the Kolsch. This is one we've been working on for the last 3 months or so.
Looks.
This is your first one?
Longer.
This is your first one, I think. Well, the first one that I tried, at least.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, then there are not enough Kolsch's
There
around.
aren't. I was just about to say.
That's why you and I host all the show.
Looks beautiful.
So
Smells great.
what's? I mean, I know what I'm picking up. What should a person pick up when they smell a Kolsch? Where does it fall in the beer style category?
So the Kolsch comes from Cologne, and it's some people would call it a hybrid lager, just because I'm using a Kolsch yeast, and you can ferment it quite low. So it has the characteristics of being quite crisp and clean, well carbonated. This one maybe not as well because I bottled it this morning and I didn't really have the facilities to carbonate it as well. But so it's clean, crisp flavour. I think on the nose, I pick up quite a lot of the wheat malts. I use quite a heavy Pilsner base with a lot of wheat.
I get a doughy kind of, I don't know if it's creamy vanilla, but that's maybe just coming from a. God, I better look at my guidelines before I start.
And I was also trying to find it here. I can't find it.
But Kolsch is meant to have that bready sweets.
Yeah, so it's meant to be slight. You don't want it too sweet. You want that even bitterness, and sweet balance. But I think this one is as close as I can get with the recipe that I've used.
It smells.
I think
It smells like a.
I think the sessionability of it is high because it has that slightly sweet.
It's definitely got that, as you say. It's definitely got a wheatiness to it.
Yeah.
It smells like a pub I'd like to be in.
Yeah.
You know when you.
But it's also got that. It's got like I think the wheat you right. It's definitely got a uniqueness about it because of the wheat in it. I would say I enjoy the wheat notes in it.
I should have brought this chart that I've got in the brewery. It's helped me along a lot of the recipes, and shout out to my sister and her husband for getting it for me. But it's called the periodic table of beer, or elements of beer, or whatever.
Sure.
And it's got all of the beers categories all lined up very neatly, and you can kind of see where a Kolsch fits on the spectrum of beer.
Yeah,
If you
that's quite
can
cool.
call it that. And I think that's where I was like, it's not a lager, and it's not a pale ale, or it's not an ale.
I'm gonna have a sip. I can't believe
You've just been
I've been sniffing.
No,
I've been enjoying it. Yeah. Ooh.
this.
That's the
It's
one.
very light, eh? What percentage is it?
4.5.
And then how did you bottle this? Did you take it straight from the keg or
I used my
you have a bottling gun?
bottling gun now.
Very nice.
Pretty much just for home use. We are looking to full growlers. That's coming. That's in the pipeline.
It's a nice way to do it. I mean, I know what people say. It's you get a lot of brand awareness out with bottles, but crisis, it's admin.
From what I've heard, it's 20% of your revenue or your income.
Bottles,
Bottles.
just an industry like average.
From the people that I've spoken to in the craft beer markets.
Yeah,
And that goes from, the Jack Blacks to the Metal Lands. You've heard
I'd probably say mine's probably about the
the
same.
volume, it all works in that 80-20 principle. Your volume is the case. If someone had to say to me, Troy, what route should I go when I started in Newbury? Case all the way. That's what Roscoe's doing. He's not doing bottles, well, for now. So I think it's good.
I'm looking forward to getting to the bottling stage. It's definitely an avenue I'm very excited to get into because I've got so many people that are begging for the beer at home.
That's good.
And
Can't get it there.
They can't get it, so
Yeah.
it's tricky in that sense. Yeah.
But then they must if they really want it, then they must get a growler. That's, I think,
Yeah.
there's not that, we don't have that kind of culture here in South Africa where, in the States where you've got queues and lines of people waiting to get their growlers filled at a brewery, because that's the only place
We
you
don't
can get
have that culture yet, for people to know that, as you say, queues and lines, because if it's at the brewery, it's the best it's going to be.
Yeah.
We'll start getting that. I think it's also, I don't know, we'll get there. It's a slow process.
Has SAB done something like that? I wonder if anyone's...
Not that I know of. What, like a release from the brewery?
I better phone them and just give them a tip and just say I want a bit of a...
But I don't think they would, because they've got such hectic rules and regulations about getting on the premises and getting off the premises. I think it's just too much admin for them.
Yeah, that's...
You check your boots, they check you, sign you in, they do everything, and then you're going to leave with some products and they're going to check see that you've got the right amount. And
especially now being owned by ABI, I think
you have to wear a high-vis jacket,
earplugs, helmets,
glasses, goggles,
safety shoes, steel tap. We digress. Kind of. Not really. But, Steve, we're going to take a bit of a music break coming up, but I want to know the story. I think the people need to know the story. I found it very interesting. Tell our listeners why you decided to call your brewery Shackleton's.
Is that before the break or after the break? It was very confusing.
Yeah,
really?
Now or later.
So start talking and I'm going to play some music. I'm going to play some music after. So go ahead.
I'm keen to hear this.
All right. So, in long or short?
The long version.
The long version?
Yes.
For real?
Yeah.
I'm going to get tired of my voice. Eh?
No.
All right.
Impossible.
We've got some beer in front of us.
Yeah.
So, during my studies in environmental management, I managed to get onto the SA Agulhas 2, the science research ship, South African research ship, and I did just a little course on the ship for 10 days. We went out to sea and did some oceanography and so on. And then
part of your
it wasn't
studies.
even part of my thesis or my studies or anything. I just saw the opportunity and applied, and
awesome.
I got a recommendation and I got on and did the course. And then when I was on the ship, I met this guy called Harry. He's one of my best mates. His name is Arman.
Yeah.
Also a big craft beer lover.
Nice.
And then we decided to maximize our opportunity on the ship so that we could get onto the ship at the end of the year and do the takeover function in Antarctica.
Jeez.
So essentially we worked as hard as we could over those 10 days to learn all the instruments, and then when the time came to apply for a position to go to Antarctica, we had all the skills needed, as well as maybe a little bit of inside connections with Harry's girlfriend now, Talia. So thank you, Talia. But yeah, basically we went down to Antarctica at end of 2016 to 2017 for 3 months, doing the taking
in December.
So we left in November, came back in February, I think.
So it was summer.
It was summer, yeah.
That's was warm.
Yeah. well, warm is relative.
Yeah.
I mean, so now the ship, we come down to the base and we restock the base with all their supplies, fuel, food, everything. But on the way down, we were doing the oceanography research. But now 3 months is quite a substantial amount of time to be sitting on a ship. And then when we were down in Antarctica, there wasn't much research to do because the ship was doing logistics. So we ended up watching a lot of movies and reading books and so on. And I read about Sir Ernest Shackleton and his story in Antarctica, which is a very similar region that we went to in Antarctica. And his story was compelling. It was the most influential story I've ever read and heard about. So basically, he was an Antarctic explorer at the beginning of World War One. He actually left. Winston Churchill gave him the go-ahead pretty much as the war started. So he took his team of 28 down to Antarctica, and they were going to do a trans-Antarctic expedition. So to be the first to cross Antarctica. And as they got down to Antarctica, with their wooden hulled ship, which is not. I mean, what they thought was suited for those sort of climates and so on. It didn't handle the heaviest ice season that guys had seen in decades. And the story goes that their ship got
iced in.
Yeah, got iced in, and the sea ice just basically crushed the ship. And over the period of 3 years for them, they were stranded on ice and having to row on rowboats. And pretty much all they ate was the dogs that they had on the ship. They ate penguins and seal blubber, and that's basically what they lived on for months and months and months on the ice, on sea ice, floating ice.
They were trying to get back to the closest point where they could get rescued.
Yeah, correct. So the closest inhabited island was South Georgia. But there was an island called Elephant Island that they managed to row to. And so then Shackleton left most of his team there, and he took 3 guys, and they rowed from Elephant Island, and I say rowed, like a rowboat.
Yeah.
They rowed from Elephant Island to South Georgia, which is 900 miles. They rowed 900 miles in possibly the biggest, that region has the biggest swells in the world. It's near Drake's Passage. The seas are so rough, and he managed to get there, gets to the wrong side of the island.
How long did it take him to get
months?
But if you miss it by a degree, then I think Elephant Island was the closest, or whatever was the closest. Then if you not on exactly the right course, then you just miss it and you'll never get anything.
You'll it's that Drake's Passage and that's what's it, the Weddell Sea, I think it is so rough, and the currents that go around Antarctica, it's just unbelievable. As well as thinking now these guys had to, the Captain Worsley was using a sextant to direct, basically. And you can't do that without seeing the horizon, and with the ocean doing this, how do you navigate?
Yeah.
They get to South Georgia, but they're on the wrong side of the island. And now South Georgia, I'll show you a photo just now, it's like the Himalayas. It's just a mountain range in the middle of the ocean.
Sure.
He eventually gets his guys and he hikes over to the whaling station and then gets into the whaling station.
They almost died just before the whaling station.
Yeah.
Something like with fatigue, they were dead. And they could, I think, see it. And then somehow someone managed to, I don't know if I'm making this up.
No, you're spot on.
Then they just managed to get there, called them.
So what he did was, I know he used to lie to the guys when they were hiking. And so when they would collapse with fatigue, the guys would say just half an hour of sleep. And he would blink, and he would realize, no, if these guys fall asleep, they're going to die.
Yeah.
So he'd wake them up and say, guys, it's half an hour, let's go. So that they would wake up thinking that they've had half an hour's worth of sleep.
Oh,
and so gets down to the whaling station and takes a whaling boat to go and fetch the guys in Elephant Island. But now, just as a timeline reference, that's 3 years of being stranded.
Yeah.
Essentially. Maybe just under 3 years.
That's a long time.
And not one of the crew members died.
That's amazing.
The worst casualty was some amputated toes.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that story. That's, of course, Sir Henry Shackleton.
Sir Ernest.
Ernest. Sorry, Henry. Oh, damn. So, and the reason you told that story is because...
So that inspiration is something that I want to carry through in my brand. I feel like his drive for exploration and adventure and innovation are something that we want to hone as our qualities in our brewery. We want to innovate good new beer. We want to be adventurous in different styles, and we want to also have our brand doing really cool things with our beer. It's not just, we're not just making beer. We want to.
You're in it for the long run as well. If it's going to take you 3 years to kind of survive, you're going to do it because then you're going to be knighted afterwards, right?
Yeah, that's the plan, man.
Was he knighted after that?
He was knighted before.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I'm wrong. I think he was knighted after, but he was a very.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
he was a boundary pusher.
Yeah, he was well known.
He's good, okay.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for sharing that story.
Thank you for listening.
I enjoyed hearing it again, and I'm sure our listeners enjoyed it. Very cool. It's always nice when you find a book or something and you just totally enthralled.
Yeah.
Mazza, do you read books, eh?
Yeah. I'm going through a big reading stint at the moment. I'm not going to tell you what I'm reading. I can if you want. I'm actually reading a very interesting book called The Fall, which is about... It's not really like a self-help book, but it's just incredibly interesting facts about Google, Amazon...
The Fall.
The Fall.
F-O-U-R.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen it before.
Amazon, Google, Facebook, and I think Apple. And Apple.
Okay.
Yeah. Very, very like insane stats in it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And you, T-Bone, what are you reading?
Just waiting for that.
Is it 50 Shades of Grey or something?
No, I finished that.
Jane Austen.
I think I've told the people in the show. I'm reading Hamilton. It's a 900-page biography. It's intense, but I'm going through it.
Do you wake yourself up a lot of the time having dropped the book on your face? Lying on your back reading.
It's actually too heavy to pick up. Like if you're lying in bed.
It's a line
Yes. I have an issue when I read and the book is sitting on my chest, because my eyes go down to the bottom of my sockets. I'm trying to read the bottom. They almost get heavy, and then my eyes just shut towards the bottom of the page. So I have to actually lift the book up and look up, and then so my eyes are looking straight. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're already just helping yourself to sleep by looking down there.
Yes. Then I do actually wake up half an hour.
One of those things where you read the page like 12 times, you still don't know what you've read, you just close it and just go to sleep.
I hate that. I hate this shit. I hate it.
Yeah.
Guys, let's take a quick music break, and then we'll return to some more beer.
We've got beer.
Does it sound good? I think that sounds good. Cool, guys. We'll see you in a bit. Cheers. Hello. Welcome back. Oh, no, please don't give me issues now. Oh.
Charlie.
Come on. Okay. Hello. In case you're wondering what you're listening to me muck about in the studio. It's #Beer Time on Two Oceans Vibe Radio with me, T-Bone Troy. We've got a few known guests in the studio. We've got Mazza. Mazza, welcome back.
Thanks, T-Bone.
Did you enjoy your pee break?
Loved it.
And then we've got Mr. Stephen from Shackleton's, who just told us an absolutely amazing story about Sir Ernest Shackleton, and that's where he got his inspiration from for his brewery. So, yeah, loving the vibe, guys. Let's crack open another beer, and while you cracking open another beer, let's talk about the Western Cape's #1 craft beer festival. Fools and Fans. Can we call it the #1? It's my number one. It's #Beer Time's #1. And that's what matters. So it was this last weekend. But let's actually, Steve, tell us what we're drinking here.
So this is the Pale Ale, Australian Pale Ale. We get some interesting pine on the nose.
Okay, so tell the listeners why Australian.
I found the hop Vic Secret very interesting. I brewed it a few times and found that it worked well with the malt base that I got. And I do like a slightly bitter pale ale. And I think that's what this beer is aiming towards.
Are you just conditioning for a long time that they're so clear?
I do have a slightly longer tank time. I mean, I've left these to condition for probably about six days. So it's a decent amount of time to clear out nicely. But I do dump a lot of yeast and trub, so I'm making sure that everything is flushed because I don't have bright tanks. So my uni tanks just I keg from them, and so dropping out all of that trub at the bottom, making sure that it's nice and clear when I bottle it.
So this is essentially bottled from...
Sorry, keg.
So, but this
is bottled from a keg.
You bottled this from a keg.
From a keg, yeah.
Okay.
And what malts are you using? I noticed it's got quite a golden, very strong yellow colour.
So I've got quite a range of different maltsters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I used a lot of Fawcett in this, actually. Fawcett's caramels, used some Munich Light, and then obviously base being pale malts. Pale malt is Castle. But yeah, so it's definitely quite a malty beer as well, with that bitter.
Oh yeah, the aroma for me is up front. It's like a nice strong. It's the first thing that I notice from it is the malty backbone of it.
I think from my practice of brewing these British beers is that I'm trying to keep the recipe simple. To start off with, I mean, as I said, I'm not pushing out my beers into the market without having to get them the full thumbs up. And so this one is on its way. There's still a few tweaks I've got to do to it. But this batch is actually very fresh. I kegged this on Friday last week.
I'm interested to know why are you advertising it as the Australian Pale Ale?
So what we're looking to call it is the Victorian Secret.
Okay. Much better.
Yeah.
Much.
Victorian Secret. And that's it also fits in well to Shackleton's era when he was born, not when he really lived in the Victoria. So it was, kind of suits the era.
Are you going to make the N in Victorian look like a S?
Yeah, I could do that. Hey? We originally had the plan to put a pin-up model with Queen Victoria's face on.
I quite like that as well.
Hey? I think
I like that.
That'll bring all the boys to the yard.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you like that? Do you like that synergy? Masa, don't you want to just see who's tweeting us there?
Oh, yeah, we got another one. I saw we got another one.
Just hit us up there.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Just look,
Open your Twitter. Just tweet it out there, man.
Just open your Twitter. you part of the youth, man. You know
the youth. Matt Robenheimer.
What does he have to say?
Says, show me a beer engine, show me a cask. Do I want some free tickets? You need not even ask.
Ooh.
We have some competition.
Yeah, I'll give that a like.
You'll like, okay?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that?
I'm going into that. I've been those two were both into my my private Twitter account, which I very seldom tweet from, but I picked them up. I'm so tech savvy.
I will check on mine. I need to tell you guys about this last weekend.
Please.
I have to tell you.
I have huge fun.
You gents weren't there.
Unfortunately not. I'm still yet to make one. As I said, I will make one.
Very sad that you weren't there.
I owe Trevor a huge apology as well.
Yes, I love Trevor.
Trevor is probably heartbroken.
Yeah.
But he did say you are a gentleman.
So. I saw that.
Yeah. He's got a lot of love.
You're talking about Steve.
Yes. No.
Yes, I don't know why you're eyeballing me like that.
I always eyeball you across the studio. So this last weekend, in case you weren't sick of me talking about it last week, but it was the Fools and Fans Festival in Greyton, and it was the second time we've had the event, and I can tell you it was an absolute success. We had double the amount of people that we had in the first year. The first year we had just under 300, probably about 320 with the 330 with the vendors, and then this year we had about 680.
Yes.
So it was
pushing it.
It was lovely. It was the perfect day. I mean, Steve, I can tell you right now, there's nothing. I'm sure you agree. There's nothing more stressful than watching your pre-sales.
Yeah.
In terms of who is going to make it. take a guess how many pre-sales we had last year.
You said how many people turned out?
No, how many? Okay,
Yeah,
300. Just
300.
Yeah.
Pre-sales.
This is last year's Fools and Fans on the 1st of April.
I can imagine pre-sales are Terry's.
Yeah.
Tickets at the door. Classic Cape Town, people pull through last minute. I've got a lot of friends who haven't bought tickets online but will be there on the day.
Yeah.
And who are expecting to get tickets at the door.
I have best friends that still haven't bought tickets.
Yeah. Harry.
So, 17.
No way.
17. We
1-7.
1-7. In our first year.
I thought you said 70. 17.
1-7.
Hectic.
Before the gates had opened on the day, we had sold 17 tickets online. So we knew...
How are you feeling?
We're just, what the hell?
Yeah, you were pissed already. You were just like, well, I'm going to have to drink this.
Trevor and I
beer.
were just like,
Yeah.
to hell with this.
Yeah.
Just us going to be drinking.
At least we knew we were going to get some beers. No, but then this year I think there was a bit more traction. People knew about it.
It's always, first time's always tough.
This year we got about, we got 10 times the amount. So we got just under 200
pre-sales.
Then that's, puts your mind a little bit at ease.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you also watching your
I'm in the
numbers.
same boat.
It's amazing. It's a Cape Town thing.
It's classic
It's
Cape
crazy.
Town, man.
We were also talking about like, what's the Joburg Festival capital, and then the Clarence. They sell us a week before.
But is it a Cape Town
Weeks
thing?
before.
Is it not because is it not like an online booking thing where people just say, I'm sure I'm going to get a ticket at the door?
Maybe.
Because I know mates who are 100% coming, but just haven't bought because they're like, I'm just going to get it at the door.
Yeah, and I also think the closest Cape Town beer thing is the Saturday of the Cape Town Festival beer. But I think that tends to sell out.
Does it?
I think it does.
Yeah, Saturday pumps it there, yeah.
I know I can relate to this sort of instance.
Yeah,
I don't
well.
go online and buy tickets to
If I know I can get at the door, I also don't.
And that's because like I know, what if I have something that comes up on the day
exactly.
and I don't want to waste my money, you know?
Exactly.
But
or if your partner says, actually, you can't go on the day because we've got that thing with my family, that tea that we promised we'd go to, and then what do you do?
Well,
What do you do, Lauren?
huh? She's so controlling. Oh, she listen?
She probably is. So good luck for this Saturday. Is basically what we're trying to say. How many brewers do we have?
So we've got 8 breweries.
8 breweries, and they all bring in
8 breweries.
8 breweries.
I'll
they
quickly
all,
name them.
they name them.
So,
Yes, this is pressure, eh?
I might forget, there's one in, what's it, down the road here, I might forget. So there's Shackleton.
I also think, I was like, but don't worry, I'm trying to think of everyone, like, I'll cover you.
Shackleton, Afro-Caribbean, Dissident, Devil's Peak, Atlantic Storm, Fuller's SA. Ooh.
I know the last two.
I know the last 2.
Metal End,
And
Swifty Brewery.
Where's Swifty from?
So Swifty's down in Komiki, down deep south.
Do you know what I like about it? I've thought about it, I've gone through it, I've looked at everyone. I like the size of everyone is all very small.
Yeah.
It's nice, obviously other than Devil's Peak.
Yes.
But I think they're always a great addition to something like that.
I think the reason why I handpicked those breweries specifically because it's easier to manage a cask event that's going to be the first event. You know, we can manage.
I wonder if I was thinking about that when I made that post today. Has there ever been a
I think
cask
you're right, because I think
festival?
because Greg put big emphasis on the fact that the cask that he brewed when he was over in the UK, he said something like it's the first cask tap pull.
Yes.
So whether that was or not, I don't know.
Probably
but
not.
it was very believable at the time, which means that there definitely hasn't been a cask festival.
Yeah. So Dave was also a bit of the brains behind the Cask Fest because he he knows everything about cask, and
Yes.
and he's been to many of these events. And the point of it being a cask fest is that every brewery brings cask beer, and it's all kind of just the festival is aimed at tasting and acknowledging and experiencing cask beer, as well as having all the other beers on draft tap and things like
Shit,
that.
I'm excited. It's
Okay, so while let's move on to the next beer, but tell us about. Tell us what beers do you have?
I think. Oh, this one we can segue nicely into.
ooh.
So,
Okay.
there's a little story behind this. Breda River, Whitewater Black IPA.
Okay.
This was the reason why I wanted to brew a black IPA.
Is that what you have in cask?
I've got no, not in cask.
Okay.
I got pale ale, which is dry hopped.
The Whitewater Black IPA. Okay, I remember
And
reviewing
the-
one of their beers on my show.
So the reason why I brought this beer is because I took this beer down to Antarctica. Yeah, and
Nice.
you technically are not allowed to take any beer down that is not already on the ship or in containers. But I took this down and I had it on the shelf with Harry, and it was fantastic
When you say on the shelf, is
on
that
the ice shelf.
oh, really?
The nice thing
Exactly.
about the thing that I find about that as you being on the other side, like before, we've all been on the side of being consumers and drinking a beer and being like, yes, that's been done so nicely. Or like, as you say, you take it somewhere and it's a special occasion and that beer always means a lot to you. That's, you don't think of that when you make it. Like being on the other side, there are people who give you stories and tell you and who align themselves with you for whatever reason. And it's awesome that it happens. Like the people who drink craft beer and who are passionate about it are they're so incredible, and they carry your brand without you even knowing it. Like they do a lot for you.
There are a few people listening right now who do that.
Yep, definitely.
People in the Tasting League, people who...
Yeah. But I think it's also
Actually
nice for the
passionate
people
about
to know who haven't necessarily experienced it, that people are, I don't know, people experience stuff and they do special stuff and like whatever with your beer, and it means a lot to them, and it sort of carries this place with them that you may not necessarily know about. I don't know whether that makes sense.
You get emotional, right?
I'm incredibly emotional.
You get very
You better edit this video and take the tear out of my eye.
Feed him a beer quickly.
Yeah, shut me up.
Okay, Black IPA.
Yeah,
So
I thoroughly enjoyed this. I think obviously location, and I thought the beer was great.
So tell us, then we haven't closed the chapter on cask. What's the difference between a cask and let's say a barrel or a normal keg?
So
What is the purpose of a cask?
a cask is, a lot of people call a wooden barrel a cask. It technically is.
Yeah.
But the casks that we have are steel casks. They basically, the reason why it's called a cask is because you tap from the cask. You don't put a coupler onto it and draw and push the beer out.
So traditionally, they wouldn't. But
Yeah,
in
yeah.
new age, they are obviously logistically...
Yeah, steel.
Okay.
Yeah. So Guinness was in casks. But in the UK, you'll find at every single local pub, you'll find handful ales in a cask, and the breweries are pumping out casks, not kegs.
But it's as you say, as you've got with your beer, your cask ale on tap at Springboks, it is usually produced on site. It's like a house brand.
Yeah, it's usually the pub's ale or the local brewery's ale that's on tap. So we've got these casks that each brewery's filled with their beer. You filled quite a nice, yummy smelling beer. Tasted it as well.
No chocolate in there.
It is a very roasty. I know. I was waiting for Steve to finish speaking.
Speak too much.
But it's got a nice. It's the roastiness of it is definitely the noticeable. Hold yours.
It's not as dark as it used to be.
It's quite caramelly. It's quite
At
watery.
the bottom, the dregs there. It is quite.
Does it have a bit of sourness to it?
I think it's just an astringency, maybe from. It's not like It's not like cloying, but maybe it's just the dark malt.
It's very It's hinting at being a little bit sour, but
it's not offensive.
Not at all.
No, it's not.
I could definitely have a couple of these.
This went down like a homesick mole.
Mm.
No, I can imagine it's freezing and you just want a nice strong beer.
I can imagine it just being.
I should have brought the photo. I had a pretty cool photo of us having it. So
I would say this is very much along the lines of a stout. Got a little strong bitterness to it.
I think I'm struggling with my black IPA at the moment to try and get the IPA-ness out, you know, because I'm using black wheat malt to give it that dark color as well as just a hint of vanilla or like roasted, you know, that toasty.
Yeah.
But then I want the hops to be, because it's an IPA.
Yeah, but it will be a big hop bill. I would or a hop edition.
There must be some kind of secrets that the guys from Devil's Peak do, because I think when you make an IPA, it's so much different from making a malt forward beer or any other style of beer, because, and don't get me wrong, I think every beer takes a certain level of work or effort, but I just think with an IPA, it's so difficult to nail it on the head.
Yeah,
and I've seen that with my home brew. I've seen it with other people's brew, and it's incredibly difficult to get right. And am I making sense? I'm making sense.
I know. I think one of the better ones that I've had was definitely Greg's, but at Afro-Caribbean a while ago. He gave me a few bottles of this beer, and it was fantastic. And I think developing from drinking that to tasting this on the shelf to me trying to create it was like, I was like, this is a fantastic. It became my favorite beer for a while. I've got a master at it.
Well, a good segue is to just say congratulations to Anthony Smith, who won the homebrew competition on the weekend at Fools and Fans. He won with a red IPA, and it was delicious. And the reason I brought that up is I just think you need to be able to know how to make an IPA. I mean, do you guys agree with me? Like, do you need to make an IPA first before you go to a red, a white, a black, a New England IPA? The difference?
Yeah, I think with anything, the basics are going to be the most important thing to learn,
because that's what you look for when you judge a beer. If they say, "Cool, this is an American forward IPA," you need to be expecting that rush of hops as that aroma that hits your nose.
The best I remember back in the day. When I say back in the day, maybe 2 years ago.
It is a while ago.
Yeah. When I started, like when Devil's Peak was like really starting to kick off, and like the tap room was like not new, but it was a fairly new thing to do, to like venture to Woodstock and
it was the place to hang out.
I remember going there, and if they didn't have their black IPA on tap, it was basically my night ruined. And I was like, snap, man. I was like, come on. Brew that shit.
And it happened more than once.
Oh, it happened so often because it was such a good beer.
I used to phone JC afterwards and express my
that for me
distaste.
It's such a good beer that I've never had a black.
He never used to answer, but
well, he's actually told me in person that he really doesn't like you. Sorry, I maybe should have left that for off air.
No, I think
good timing.
Yeah, that's.
Wouldn't be surprised.
We'll ask him about it this weekend.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah, that beer was, but it was also a power beer. It was also like 7%.
What did you get from it? Was it IPA.
It was just
And then like
it had such a well balanced roastiness as well as IPA. So if you drank it with your eyes closed and you didn't know the color of it, you'd definitely get the IPA notes from it. And like when you smelt it, it was it's hard to explain because it's not like me saying if you drank it with your eyes closed you wouldn't know it was black. You would know it was black, but it was IPA enough that you got proper IPA notes.
I think my question is how much roasted flavors or are you meant to pull from a black
their first one, I remember their first one had hints of roastedness, and it definitely had that background roastiness, and it was never in your face, and it was never aggressive.
Yeah.
And then they changed their recipe. I think they did. I don't know what they did with it. Whether someone won a competition. I remember Matthew Hurst won a competition that he brewed a black IPA there, but I think it changed somewhat, and it wasn't as roasty. And then that for me was not. It wasn't as special a beer anymore.
Let's bring back the Devil's Peak Black IPA.
Like us bring it back.
No, let's start a petition.
Let's just,
Do you think we have the power to?
I think we've got the networks.
I think we.
yeah.
Did I just start something there? Just like
You've got the platform, right? Yeah.
well, I'd like to start it. Ooh, stop that noise. Okay. Let's play some music. We'll take a quick music break and let's play some Blackstreet. Do you guys remember this song? I think you should remember it.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, before that song starts, let's turn it down. Hello, welcome back. Hashtag Beer Time with me, T-Bone Troy. Getting carried away in the studio. Talking about all things. Talking about different things. But what we should really be talking about is beer. Yeah. We have in the studio my co-host, the formidable Mr. Murray from Metal Lane. Murray Metal Lane. Did you...
T-Bone.
What came first, Murray or Metal Lane?
It's the same as it's the whole chicken and egg debate. My parents knew I was starting a brewery called Metal Lane, so they were like, let's call him Murray.
Let's tick this one off and just make it a little bit easier for him. Steve from Shackleton's.
Jeepers, what's going on here?
It could have been a little bit
Shackleton's.
I had a guy in Pick and Pay the other day. Saw my hat and he was like, Snackleton.
You were like,
I was like, yeah.
You should have been like, what is that? Because he obviously was like, Snackleton. So it must be something. Like maybe it's an amazing snack brand or...
Oh, beer's a snackable, I don't know.
Well,
Shackleton.
were you hungry afterwards?
Maybe he was.
Yeah. Maybe you could do that and still have like a logo of a penguin or something like that. Just...
That's funny, yeah. I love stuff like that. Snackleton.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay.
Guys, this is the last little bit of the show. Our GoPro has decided to leave us because yours truly didn't have enough time to charge it, but
Yes, that's so snack.
it will be charged next time. While someone's listening, would you want live viewing? And if you are interested, please let me know. But if the reason I'm asking people live right now is apparently you can only do a landscape live video on an iPhone, not an Android. So, if anyone has an old iPhone that they're no longer using...
Yes, I mean, this may as well be sponsored by Alexia, T-Bone.
Well, you know what?
I'm trying to sell a table if anyone wants to buy.
Yeah.
I had some in the store and I got some tables there. So
You've got a platform. Go for it.
if anyone would like to buy a table, please contact Snackleton. Thank you.
Contact Snackleton.
And also, if you're listening, you may as well
Oh, I'm going to turn this on.
enter the competition. You can win tickets to this Saturday's Cask Ale Festival, The Shadow of Giants. Some great cask ales. Send us something that's going to make us lol. tweet us. Do something. But there's opportunities here, and we've only got 2. So
We've got 2 entries, so right now it's Matt and Ross who win tickets.
Leading the game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just hold on 1 second, Joe.
You're winning that, you know?
No, it's just... Sorry guys, believe it or not, we are on air, but I'm just trying to fix this fucking sound.
You can see it's really triggering. T-Bone.
It really grinds my gears.
That book looks very cool.
It's really cool, eh? I was just reading through it like the other day and
Let's play some music in the
trying to
background.
imagine some of these beers like with a little twist to them.
Yeah, they look very cool.
Yeah. So for the guys that are listening, if they can hear us,
No, it's off now.
no, we're off.
Like that they just sound like they
we
sound very good as well.
Yeah. It's obviously all
It's
like,
in red.
It's me.
there was, I like the,
Okay. Fuck it, I hate it when that happens. Excuse my language. I know there are people who are listening and they don't like it when I swear, but
I really enjoy it.
Christ, it's just... Oh, okay. Guys, believe it or not, you listen to Beer Time.
I just watched the viewership numbers just skyrocket. Over that dull period, everyone was just tuning in.
Man destroys himself on live radio.
Have you ever watched that video of that British guy? I think he's British. I don't know why, but he films himself learning to play guitar, and he keeps messing up at this one point. It's absolutely hilarious.
Really?
And he gets so mad, he eventually destroys his guitar on camera. It's hilarious. He's maybe 60 years old.
Oh, shame.
It's so funny. That's basically you right now. Minus the age and the guitar.
And the skill.
No, you got a lot. You got buckets of that.
What is this? What is this beer we're drinking here? And why did you bring it, Mr. Steve?
I love it. I wanted to bring something that was quite influential into my craft beer loving and drinking. And I think this Innocent Gun was a brand.
A stepping stone.
I don't know if you call it craft. It is craft beer, but it wasn't the usual commercial beers that we grew up drinking.
Sure.
And this was one that I remember my dad and I bonded over because it was so different and powerful.
Yeah.
And I love it.
So
I really do.
What are we drinking here?
So this is the Innocent Gun rum finish. It's oak aged beer from Scotland.
It is.
It's got a bit of a smoky.
Full character. It's just got. It's
really red. It's like
Yeah.
it looks.
Very
It kind of
brown,
looks like
red, amber.
it looks like brandy.
Oak aged like no other beer.
What's the percentage there?
What did you say, T-Bone?
I would say it's 4.5.
I don't know.
4. I think it's quite low.
6.8. It
No.
does have a very light mouthfeel.
Yeah.
And there's no. But you know the. I could be wrong here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But aging in barrels does take. No, it should give body. Oh no, because of the rum flavor, because of the rum in the barrels, it thins it a bit. The mouthfeel, I think.
Yeah, probably. But there is also evaporation, which happens in the barrel. I don't know how long they put it in for, but surely that evaporation should add a bit more concentration.
Yeah, so
Thick-
it concentrates a thicker body.
So
Depends on how long it's aged.
it doesn't say.
But this,
But
this smells incredible.
The nose is amazing.
It's very complex with smoky wood and flipping everything that's creamy and
Yeah,
malty.
it's super smooth. There it says carefully matured for 57 days prior to release.
Okay, so 2 months. I wonder how they get it so light.
It does not taste like 6.9.
No. Because it's also very smooth with the, there's no warming from it.
I actually think this is the first time I've had this beer. I've had the
It's
other
the first time I've had it. It's
I've
like
had
rum and raisin.
Yeah, I've had the other ones. The ice cream that used to eat.
says it is sublime with mature cheeses.
I can imagine
Served
it with
good chutney and relishes.
I can imagine it with the stinkiest cheese ever, and just being delicious.
Oh, I might want to go get some cheese now. Speaking
So you have
of
to get the beer as well.
Speaking of pairing food with beer, we had the food and beer pairing this weekend as well with the good old Greg and Carl from Beer Country, and it sold out.
It's dangerous being around those guys when they're cooking. My goodness,
It was
the food they make is insane.
I can't remember. I'll tell you some dishes they made. They made a sourdough toasted sandwich on the braai with goat's cheese. They made chili con carne, their own chili con carne with a black malt bread bun. They did their chicken wings. They did. Oh, what else did they do? I was just so busy. They did it.
It's just the delicious stuff.
It was just, and they paired it with the food.
Yeah.
It was just perfect. And
I reckon those guys could take any person's pantry and turn it into like
that was the
an
thing.
amazing meal.
I mean, I'm sure in the last half show
pantry.
when we went, they know what they do. But T-Bone, I know you love your cooking.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know whether you've seen it, but there's a YouTuber called Brad Leone who does. When you told me about the sourdough, and he's got this like series, and it's very well edited. It's brilliant. I think you'd really enjoy it. You must watch it. It's called Brad Leone. It's alive. So a lot of the time he's making stuff with live cultures.
Oh wow!
So kombucha, sourdough. Ricotta cheese doesn't have any, but it's a very interesting stuff. Very cool. You'll definitely enjoy it. It's
YouTube.
Yeah, he gets like close to 1 million views on his videos. Brad Leone.
I will do that.
Very worth it. Very well edited. He's got a very good rapport with his cameraman Vinny. So it's classic, and it also makes me want to be able to go through this process of making sourdough, because before it's the same as beer. I got into beer being like, okay, cool, like. Here's this product, and it's just made, and like it's made. But as soon as you understand why it's made like that, and why it has that color and that head retention and like that mouthfeel and everything about it, it's not just beer anymore. That's why sourdough. Now that I've seen how it's made, it's not just sourdough anymore. It's a live culture, is making it why it is the way it is.
There's a whole world opening up in terms of food and drink, in terms of the enthusiasm, the hidden secrets, or the to sound cheesy, the wonders of what makes a product. With beer, it's very easy for us to talk about. Like, we're absolutely passionate about it. We get excited about carbonation and mouthfeel and the IBUs, which to the common lady, person outside, will not really take in.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about bread and stuff, and I think it's a lot easier for us to kind of jump from beer to bread and just to find out these other things. I mean, you talk about this bread, and just it makes me think about this guy in Holland who's an official milk taster, who goes around tasting milk, and he can pick up the different flavors, the mouthfeel, the body, the type of cow.
Yeah.
And
that was the left, right. That was back, left, udder.
But you laugh, but it probably is like that.
Squeezed a little too tight.
And it's these it's these kind of maybe over the top kind of things, but it's I think the world is heading in that direction in terms of homegrown, small, local, artisanal,
but it comes down to everything.
We watched a show last night. I think it was called Ugly Food on Netflix.
Yes,
where they spoke about pizza and how there's an official pizza association of Napoli in Italy, and they regulate what pizza should be. It's bizarre, but there are people out there who want this and appreciate that, and it's
It's that level of craftsmanship.
Yes. But it comes down to anything. I think a lot of stuff that's made and done has got that certain level to it. So you can get the premium of something with everything in the world. Wall plastering. I'm just saying that because I'm looking at the wall. You'll get someone who can look at a wall and be passionate about it because it's plastered well. It's got like a good texture. It's got this and that. And for us, it's a bloody wall. It's like for someone else, this is just a beer.
It's a bloody beer.
It's just a bloody beer. So you can get it with everything.
Don't you dare.
That's like the more you know about it, the more you can start understanding. That's why that crack over there is formed, or that's why it's thicker over there, or you don't see that stuff, but now
You're still
start
talking about the wall.
understanding. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So like even in the bread, the holes that you get in the bread are because of how stretched the dough, but the specific like the you don't want to create too many air pockets, and the air pockets are created by stretching the proteins or something like that.
Amazing.
And it's like if you just cut into a piece of bread and you're like, well, fuck, my whole piece of bread's just an air pocket.
Yes.
You're going to be a little bit bleak. But if you've got like a nice distribution of the air pockets and all of that, it's a different thing.
We're in a great time in our lives to actually learn stuff. Anything we want to learn.
Yeah.
You know, all these things took generations, hundreds of years to kind of get to where we wanted to. Let's take beer, you know, like it was only up until the late 1900s. Sorry, the 19th century where beer started to become clear. And, you know, as we move into the 21st century, or as we are in the 21st century, if you want to learn how to make beer, if you want to learn how to make bread, if you want to learn how to make certain type of cheese, it's there, it's easy.
What if I want to make shoelaces, T-Bone?
I am pretty sure there is someone out there making videos on how to do shoelaces. Do you want to go in that line? Metal lane the shoelaces. Get a beer and buy your shoes.
Shoelaces and plastering walls.
Yeah. And soundproofing walls.
Let's move on to our final beer, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a great show. Yes. Ooh. Okay.
Oh my aching soul.
Oh my aching soul. Why? You need to tell a story behind this. Why did you bring this beer? What is it?
It is Le Trop Dual.
Dubu.
It is, I haven't read the back. I haven't ever tasted it. So I wouldn't really know much about it, but it was a gift.
It says beautiful and authentic with a warm brown color. It has a fresh and soft aromatic character with a touch of sweetness. Brewed with water from our own springs. Can you guys remember what the actual fact is? It says here Trappist, and it's got the official authentic Trappist products. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are only 7 Trappist breweries in Belgium. Maybe one. Do you want to Google that fact?
I'll Google that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's
Only
the
7,
case.
and I think
Because
it might be 8. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Yeah, I wouldn't be certain.
Well, thank you very much. This is a solid 7%. What are you guys expecting when you think of Dubbel?
So it says here, Trappist beer is a beer brewed by Trappist breweries. 11 monasteries.
7-11. That's
6 in Belgium, 2 in Netherlands, and 1 each in Austria, Italy, and Spain. And the United States.
so you can forgive me for saying 7, right? It was close.
I don't know. I mean,
7-11.
Like you're
now
wrong.
I understand
You
why
were wrong.
JC doesn't leave you so much.
I hope he's listening.
Yeah. He'll send you a message and be like, Troy, actually, I'm quite fond of you.
Ooh, very. Ooh.
That's interesting. I didn't know there was one in the States.
So you said 6 in Belgium, huh?
6 in Belgium.
I'm actually trying to convince my dad to go run a race in Belgium.
Oh,
Calculation.
do it. Please do it.
You have to.
Yeah.
Where did you go to in Belgium? Which cities did you go?
Belgium's so small, you could basically hit a pitching wedge from one side to the other. It's tiny.
Where did you go?
I went to a place called Mons.
Okay.
So I thought the S was silent until someone said it's not silent. So it's Mons. Very close to the Castle Moultrie actually.
Okay.
Went and visited the Moultrie. Is it called a Moultrie? Maltster?
Malting
Malting
company,
plants.
Malting
yeah.
plant.
Malting plant. Went and visited that. But yeah, I think Belgium's very small, so you can cover quite cover quite a bit of ground
Okay.
quite easily there. Shot.
Cool. So, what are you expecting from a double? No, I'm good, thanks.
This is also very.
I used to make doubles. Not as well as this. For me, I know there's a high alcohol, but this is the one beer that if you want caramel, not anything else dark or heavy, but caramel. This is going to shine through.
This is like a chocolate eclair.
Beautiful and authentic with a warm brown colour.
Toffee.
This is those chocolate eclairs where if you bite into it, if your tooth is even questionably wobbly, it comes out. This is one of those.
Oh, this is dessert. This is
The nose kind of reminds me a little bit about Marmite.
Marmite. So you get more of a savoury kind of aspects.
Oh, it definitely does have that yeasty character to it.
Mm.
It's surprisingly light for a big beer.
I think it's a little bit cold as well.
Okay, so you want it to warm up a bit.
Yeah.
But it smells delicious. I mean,
You did a great job of chilling those beers. You really did.
I've got enough ice here
Yeah.
to feed water to the rest of Cape
Yeah.
Town. This is harvested water though that made this ice. So
From the Newland Spring.
no, from the roof of the brewery.
Fantastic. Everyone, that's also another big thing here. People just, great to see. People just pulling their weight, which is fantastic.
when it
I
comes to
haven't showered in 2 months.
We noticed.
Yeah. Try.
no, were we saying all fair that those rains that we had the other day was just fantastic. Filled my buckets.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I was here. I think it was in Plex. It was over the Easter weekend.
Oh, it was love. Yes, we had a nice downpour before Easter.
Yeah, everyone said it was pissing. Fantastic.
I think I'm going to call this competition.
Yeah, it's.
The Oaks were listening to me, and I think maybe the Oaks have joined later on. Maybe didn't.
Wait, I've got one new notification.
Ooh,
Maybe we should give them one quick shot.
Shams. Either Matt or Ross will be heartbroken if someone comes up with a rip snorter.
Just can you read them again?
Okay, we'll read them again. Ross Simmons.
Yeah.
Hickory dickory dock. There's F all that rhymes with cask. Please can I have a ticket to the beer fest this weekend? Sim Salabim.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
And then there was Matt Rovenheim said, show me a beer engine, show me a cask. Do I want some free tickets? You need not even ask. Hashtag beer time. Oh, you just had to put in that hashtag beer time at the end there. Well, should we wait a little bit?
I think just send in, if you're listening, send in anything that has cask in it, and you never know. You may not win, but you may win.
You may get a pat on the back.
Yeah, might get a shout out. That's good.
So, guys, we're talking obviously about the upcoming In the Shadow of Giants Cask Beer Festival. In the Shadow of Giants. Why? Because it's...
So, Shadow of Giants was a very interesting name we chose because of our location. So, Shackleton being literally and figuratively in the shadow of a few institutions that are giants.
Age-old institutions.
Age-old, namely Newlands Rugby Ground,
Ooh.
Newlands Cricket Ground, and a bigger brewery next to us that I'm pretty sure everyone knows. The Giants. The
Yeah.
SAB. The big boys.
It's a good name. And
And hence inviting the small brewers to come and participate in something where
Stop it. So this thing's keep talking, yeah.
where we want to celebrate the small guys and celebrate good beer produced on small scale and of course celebrating cask. So that's the intention behind the festival.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there.
sucking down some cask ales.
Cheapers, yes.
You know, we're tapping them straight from the cask. We're
And you're pouring it from the
from
cask.
the cask itself.
God damn it, this thing keeps making a noise. Okay, there, that's better. I'm just going to keep really still. Okay, so we're going to tap it right from the cask. We can drink it. What time the gates open? 1.
1 o'clock.
I will be there at 5 to 1. And then the first 100 people get?
First 100 people get a free branded glass.
Ooh. Is that what's on the glass?
It's got all the breweries' names, and then all the logos of all the breweries, and then the logo of the festival. And the intention behind this festival is we want to make it a biannual event. So we want it to be the location of where the festival is quite a close knit area. So it's compact, it's small. It's easy to get around all the breweries, taste all the beers, enjoy it. And we got guys that are...
Is it in the courtyard?
In the courtyard, it's very much.
Fantastic.
And outside, and then we've closed off the road for the food trucks and seating area and so on. So
I used to live very close by. So it
You
would
did,
be-
I remember that.
Yes, I used to have some classic evenings.
Classic Murray statement, you were a pitch wedge away. What?
Yeah.
How to say it?
Sandwich, yeah.
Pitch
It was
wedge.
a full pitching
you were
wedge,
a putt length.
yeah. It was
That's
fantastic.
at least a 3 putt.
Yeah. The snake. Yeah. It really is a great area. What do you do with your spent grain?
So my business partner Dave, who I've spoken about, he has a farm up in the Cedarburg,
Okay.
and so we ship all that spent grain up to sheep. We actually want to make a video of the what's it, grain to glass, and then after the glass.
Yeah.
And we want to put a GoPro onto one of the sheep because they run down this road and they get to
They
the
go
troughs
mad,
and
yeah.
they just chow the stuff.
Yeah, I know it's hectic. There's I drop my malt off up the road. There's actually a farm a kilometre from my brewery, like in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of town.
In the middle of town. Yeah, it's just up on the hill. Old
What
military
animals
base.
are you feeding?
Goats and
Chickens.
and chickens
donkeys.
and
That's where I used to dump my homebrew.
yeah, and they go mad as well. The goats, like, it's hilarious. Goats are like really funny animals. They make classic noises, and sometimes they just like put their head down and they just like charge the other one. And the other one's just chowing some malt so casually,
Having a good old time.
having a good time, and some oak just rams him in his guts while he's eating. And then there's this huge horse that comes in. It's actually a very small horse, but it's a
Sounds
horse.
huge, though.
It's a horse, so it's big, and it gets inside here as well. And it's apparently not supposed to eat so much because it has that thing where it creates gas inside it. I don't know.
I
It's
think
called.
I think I have that thing.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah.
And it creates, but it can. I think it can basically become. It can like explode. So
I definitely have that.
No,
you're telling stories.
No, like it can die from it, but it wouldn't explode. But it's internal. I think it just.
Gluten intolerant.
Yeah, I don't know, clearly. But
Give me a
trying to get that
couple of
horse,
pixels and I'm
trying to get
done.
that horse away from the malt, it tries to kick you and bite you.
Ooh,
It's hectic.
But
that's like me.
that spent grain has got a pong to it. Eh?
Yeah, but if you leave it for
No, you
too
can't
long,
leave it. If you
can't
leave it
leave
overnight,
So we've sent up to Dave's farm is up in the Cedarburg. So
Yeah.
you're transporting a long distance, and
Yeah.
it's in the back of a bucket or on a trailer, and it's in big drums. And it gets up there and it's warm, and it can pong a bit.
it can be very
well,
sour.
it carries on wild fermenting. That's where it gets the sounds.
I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Curtis Murray, who came second and third at the Fools and Fans homebrew competition.
It had to have been with a good
It was-
oak-aged beer.
Yeah, it was. He entered 2 beers that were oak aged, and they were just phenomenal. So he's giving me a bit of shit on social media saying it's if only I tried any, but I did. I think he was talking about the Innocent Gun. That's the one.
Yeah.
Curtis, I would have your beers over Innocent Gun. There we go. I said it.
Over this Innocent Gun.
Yeah, his beers were world class. World class. Okay, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say Matt and Ross, congratulations. You've won yourself some tickets. Two tickets each. Ross, if you don't have anyone to go with, you can take me. Because I need some tickets.
Last time I saw Ross, I think, was actually at the Cape Town Festival of Beers, which is incredibly disappointing. It was so long ago.
Yeah, he wasn't even at the Fulton Fans. He wasn't at the last homebrew that we did.
But he's working very hard. He's doing some amazing things on.
He is doing some amazing
like
but
pushing the buttons. It's nice.
But if you want to stay involved in the brewing community, you need to be actively involved. So, get involved, Mr. Ross. Mr. Stephen, I think this is a great place to kind of call it a day. I just want to thank you for joining us today. Well done on your beers. Thank you very much for bringing them in. Thank you for bringing in some delicious guest beers. We've got the Innocent Gun rum finish. We had the La Trappist, and then we had the Bread River Brewing Co. White Water Black IPA. And then we also had the beer that I bought, the Bubble Green.
Alcopop.
Wee-hee!
No, thank you very much for having me.
And I'm looking forward to the Saturday.
I can't wait, eh? Troy, would you like a ticket?
No, man. No. T-Bone must work. He must grovel for a ticket.
I feel like for his efforts in having to withstand my storytelling.
This is why I have a show. So someone could just...
I watched it unfold.
Someone could just bring me a beer and give me a ticket.
I'll be there at 5 to 1 buying my tickets. I'm surprised you didn't say that. Paying money for my ticket.
Scanning in.
You know, there's going to be such a big queue that you're going to be, even if you're at 5 to 1, at the back, you won't get your free glass. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's going to be pumping.
It's going to be there.
Cask beer, they're all very limited edition. They're going to be delicious.
I'm looking forward to trying yours, Mr. Muzza. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Did you have a good one? I had a good one.
I had a good one.
You had a good one.
I had a very good one.
It's always a pleasure. I think the listeners really enjoy it. The banter.
If I do say so myself.
What's that? Tweedledee, Tweedledum. You know, you get in history, you get the great two people.
Harry Shackleton.
There we go. Harry Shackleton and Ernest. Harry and Ernest. We're going to call it a day there, guys. Thank you very much.
That was the highlights of my show.
That was the highlight right there.
T-Bone shouting out, so old Harry Shackleton.
Harry's probably sitting there. I didn't get ordered anything.
So you're the great Harry Shackleton.
Myself.
Descendant.
Guys, thank you very much for tuning in and putting up with our nonsense. We will see you next week. I think we might even have a Tasting League captain. His name is Mike. We need to confirm, but he has been traveling around America, so he is going to be bringing some beers next week. But if we don't see you and hear from you then, we will see you maybe this weekend in the Shadow Walk Giants Cask Beer Festival in Newlands at the old Springbok Station pub. And we will see you there. So, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again soon. And, yeah, we'll see you then. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for listening, guys and girls. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for #BeerTime. That's #BeerTime written out in full. Hope you enjoyed the show, and check you next time. Cheers.